I hadn't realized that you meditate pretty much every day.
I do. It's a big difference when I don't, actually. I feel almost kind of like, I feel like I'm playing catch up when I don't meditate.
When did you start? How did you get started?
I started meditating out of need, actually. When I was in my early 20s, I had severe panic attacks, and I couldn't really find a way. I didn't know what else to do, really. It was kind of like the last resource. I felt like
When would they come on? When would the panic attacks come on?
pretty much, I mean, it started in a little plane, but I was pretty severe having them for about 9 months. But they started in a little plane, and then it became like tunnels, elevators, airplanes, buildings that windows wouldn't open, and then it became my own apartment. And I mean, it was just like it became like my world that just kept becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And I needed to find a solution and the way out, and I've always, been connected, I would say, to a very trusting of the spirit realm, let's say, that way. And then I prayed, I pray because every time when you go through the worst times in your life, I mean, that's when you go to praying. I mean, that's what I do. And it came to me, the idea of yoga, and then I found a teacher, and instead of just doing asanas, we start practicing meditation every day about 5:30 in the morning. So that's how I started my practice of meditation, in hopes to, and then it was basically pranayama breathing techniques, which is the alternate nostril breathing, which is the one that you alternate. It helps to balance the left and the right side of the brain.
I had never heard of that until Hillary Clinton wrote about that in her book. I don't know if anybody else knew that.
The alternate nostril breathing?
And I actually asked Hillary Clinton about it, and one of my producers was like, you know what, you should ask her to do it. And I was like, there's no way Hillary Clinton is gonna do the alternate nostril breathing technique on camera. And I went, you know what, let's try. And I asked, and she was like more than happy to just start doing all.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's basically like, you inhale from one side and then exhale from the other, and then inhale again. You just kind of alternate the inhale, and you can go on Google too, because otherwise it's gonna take a long time. But it's right away you feel the effects on it. And I always should do 10 minutes of that. It kind of gets you to a space that is very clear. And then meditating after that. So I was really that was, besides changing my diet and actually allow me to see life in a completely different way, because before that, I was a person who was going 100 miles an hour on the hamster wheel and just chasing my own tail.
You'd already started modeling.
I was modeling since I was 14. Right. So that was when I was in my early 20s. I was 23 years old. And that's when my practice of meditation started.
And did you notice an impact very quickly?
I did, because I was having the severe panic attacks for a long time, and I had changed my diet. I was really stopped drinking coffee, stopped smoking, but I was still having kind of high anxiety about things, and I think the breathing and the meditation daily really helped me, because it helped center me, and it helped me become the observer versus being in the middle of the storm. I was able to kind of step back and see that almost like I was able to watch my life as a movie, and I was able to, by taking a step back, I was kind of being able to kind of remove myself from that anxiety and from the middle of that feeling of not being able to catch my breath and feeling like I was gonna pass out.
You could still see the thoughts or the feelings, but they didn't affect you in the...
Not in the same way, because you become the observer. So it's like you're watching a movie, and when you're watching a movie, you can be crying because you can be feeling all the emotions that are going through the movie, but it's a movie in a way, You're kind of looking at that, and there's a part of you the dinosaur is coming to kill this person, let's say, but so you can feel all the feelings of, okay, run, but at the same time, you kind of know you're not, the dinosaur is not after you, basically. So I think in a way, it's you're able to see your life, and then you can see also making this is really good in allowing, you can make decisions from a place of really, instead of rush decisions and I have to make this decision, and you're not very clear about it. When you can take a step back and become the observer, you make decisions with a different level of awareness, with a different clarity, and therefore better decisions, I feel.
Do you find, one of the things I talked about before when I was on stage is that even if I don't meditate at 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day or several times a day, whatever, even a minute or two in a car or in a plane, it can center you in a way.
Oh, big time. I really think so. I mean, I think in the very beginning when I was going through my severe anxiety and panic attacks, I actually went into like, I don't know if you guys ever heard about Vipassana, which is like a 10-day, like intense meditation. I actually do like 7 days and go in silence and just meditate for 7 days. And with that, a lot of stuff comes up. Obviously, when you're not talking, you realize how much the monkey mind is trying to take control, because that's the job of the mind, right? Is to kind of, it's like a friend told me this once. He says, Gisele, the mind is an instrument. Don't let it play you. So it's a really powerful thing to remember, to be just remember that, that's the job of the mind, is to hold on to things and to kind of attach to things. And it's your job to say, I choose this thought and I don't choose that. And because whatever you give energy to is what grows. I actually have a chapter in my book that it talks about that. It's like, where your energy goes is what grows. And it's like, we have to choose where we put our energy in, because that's where we're going to manifest. So it's the more consciously and we can make those choices and where we're letting our mind go, the better it's going to be for us. And I think meditation, what it does today, for example, I use meditation for lots of different things, even if for 5 minutes, like I can sit and I want to answer to a question. Mm-hmm. So I can sit in meditation. Usually I like to do it at 5:30 in the morning, because I love before my kids are up, before the dog starts crying to go outside. All of that is that's my favorite thing, because everything is quiet and the
Wake
energy.
up at 5:30 in the morning?
Yes, between 5:30 and 5:45.
Time do you get to bed?
About 10.
Wow.
Yeah, never. I mean, really.
I wake up at like 10.
What do you mean?
I like 10 in the morning. I wake up like I.
What time you go to bed?
I don't know, like 2 a.m. I'm watching Narcos and stuff on Netflix.
Oh my God. You see, I'm a morning person. I actually like to wake up before the sun. I mean, I love.
Oh, that's great. I would say I was like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to be that person, but then it wasn't really working out for me so well, so I had to make a little adjustment.
Right.
So sometimes, we have to adjust. It's like, we are like, there's different cycles in our life. And when I was in my 20s, maybe I was going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but now I'm a mom. I have, kids. They get up early in the morning. They need things. So I feel like if I can take care of myself, if I can put the oxygen mask on me first and do something for me first, then I'm a much better mom. I'm much more patient. I'm happier.